Good morning, everybody. I think I see some people, but I'm not sure if they were from yesterday or today. I don't know if Maria and Dawn and Bearded Eagle are still in here. I think that might have been from yesterday. I'm not sure. But I see Caucasian Sasquatch. Thank Oh no. Excuse me. I see Kenny and Debbie. Adventures of Kenny and Debbie. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Danielle. I call her the sweet Danielle. When I drop her link, I say, here's the sweet Danielle at Homestead Love. Ted at Off the Hook Outdoors. Thank you for being here. You're watching from the doctor's office. We're famous. Everybody's going to hear us. Or you might have earbuds. I don't know. Be there in a minute, helping Ian with a problem. Oh, well, excuse me. I hope you get it resolved. Thank you for being here, Lisa. Here's Al Chafe, my back step. Hey, Al. Hey, Ashley from CNC Farm. Thank you for being here. Janet, Homestead Where You Are. I've got to catch up on your renovation videos. It's just a lot. I know y'all know, but that's what I was just talking to my guest about. And when you have just as many subs as when you follow just as many people as you have subscribers, it's hard to keep up with what everybody has going on. But I really am trying to keep up with everybody. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Glenn and Jessica. Probably Glenn, because Jessica doesn't do much in the chat. She goes to people's stuff, I'm sure, but I don't think she participates much in the chat. But hey, Glenn, Jessica, however. Scott, hello. What's up, brother? Cottonwood Ranch. Hello, Raquel. Thank you for being here. And I know you said that you didn't say what I won or what you were giving away, but like I said, I appreciate anything that you send, whatever it is. So I'm just so glad that I won. That's so cool. On my first scavenger hunt that I went to, I won a prize. So you guys need to check out those scavenger hunts at 8 o'clock on Monday night, right? So yeah, my hair is doing a thing. All right. Hey, Jesse, Mod Father's in the house. It will be a mug. Awesome. I like mugs. I like my coffee. So I'll be able to represent up here on instead of representing Biloxi Beach, Mississippi, I can represent Cottonwood Ranch. My coffee's running low. I'm at the end of the pot. That was it. It's been a while since morning time for me. So, alrighty. Today we have a special guest, and it's kind of funny. Hey there, Native Wild Man. So, this is like the third time that we scheduled him to come up. There's always been something. First time it was me. I had something I had to cancel because I had a summer camp to go to with the scouts, and I didn't realize it fell on the same day. So I was gone that week and I had to cancel. And then he had things going on, which is understandable, seeing as how, he has recently upped his family and moved to a new location and like building a homestead and all that. I mean, what's busy about that, right? But life goes on. There's things and stuff that, it's life. There's always something that comes up. But anywho, so he's finally here today. And I was kind of nervous because before this, he was like, hey, Danny. And I was kind of afraid he was going to be like, hey, Danny, sorry, I can't do it again today. And I was like, not giving you the option for that. No. So I'm pretty excited about having him here. He's a really cool guy. And I can't wait for you guys to get to know him better. And probably I'll get to know him even better. We shall see. So let's welcome him with open arms. And I have put his link down below in the description. And so if anybody wants to go and support our guest, then that would be great. Hey, Brad from Chicken Beak Mountain. All right. Hey, Pineapple. Hey, Tony. Hey, Aunt Kathy. Okay. I'm going to pull him up, okay? So this is Eric from Kansas. Hi, Eric from Kansas.
Heidi ho. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh man. Well, we finally made it happen.
I know. It's been like forever coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot easier now that I don't have a job.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
for sure. So
no,
at some point, you'll probably want to touch a little bit about that. I know you have content on it where you talked about it. So I guess if you wanted to make them go watch your video, you could. But that's up to you whether you want to discuss that today or not.
yeah, I'll mention a little bit about it. Yeah, it was a big decision. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
glad to finally be able to come on here and talk with you and see everybody again. There's
Yeah,
lots of
look,
people in the chat I recognize again.
I love this name. What the flock? It's so funny.
Nice.
It's catchy though. You know, you see it and you're
Yeah, it
like,
is.
for real? And it's got chickens all on her page. It's great.
If y'all hear the
But
chickens, that's because they're like 30 feet that way.
right.
I think the hens are finally done laying for the day.
I
They were
was gonna
squawking
ask you, have
earlier.
they started laying for you yet?
Yeah, there was one or two, and they've been laying only 2 or 3 a day. And I think they've either, uh, I mean, I don't like, so these are my first chickens, and I don't really know much about them. I'm kind of learning as I go along. So I don't know how many they typically lay at a time, but either they either start just laying more, or another one decided to join them because I pulled out 5 yesterday, which is good.
And how many total chickens hens do you have?
I've got 14 hens, so I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 laying right now. Yeah.
Well, they tend to like, some will start laying before others. They say
Hmm.
it's at a certain time they're expected to lay, but some of them take longer than others.
Yeah.
And depending on, I know it's dependent on. There's my mom. Hey,
Cool.
her birthday was yesterday.
Janet says average one per day each.
Yes,
So that's good.
yes.
So I guess maybe 5 of them are laying, I guess.
We got Steven from Mr. Boots and Bounty here. We got Bearded
Hey,
Eagle.
Steven. Hey, Bearded Eagle. Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Long time no see.
yeah.
And lots of you in the chat I've never seen. I I am terrible about the YouTubes and staying up on it anymore these days. Got lots of stuff going on outside the YouTubes, so it's hard to keep up with what's going on here.
Well, that's what we want to know is what's going on in Eric's life.
Uh, well, things I feel like things are better, even though I quit my job maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. I got a video about that on my channel. It's I quit my $100,000 job without a safety net, something like that in the thumbnail, and it was a big decision, but it was a long time coming. I knew it was coming. I didn't want it to when I first started that job. I think I'd been there a year and a half or so, and one of my best buddy was complaining. He's like, "Man, you gotta find a different job." I was like, "Dude, I'll tell you right now, this is the last job I'll ever have. Is that I am retiring from this job. I plan on staying there 20 years, and I did
Yeah.
7." uh, but it's great. I mean, the benefits were great. So I'll say it now because when I'm working somewhere, I don't like to say where I'm working while I'm working there. I don't like to put
Right.
that out there. Um, but I was working I was working at the oil refinery here. So people that have worked in the oil industry know that kind of regardless of what you're doing, you're making, a pretty nice living. Um,
Right.
but for me, the beginning of the end for it was during the whole coronavirus mandate thing, and I quickly figured out that the company was just going to cave and fold to the illegitimate mandates of federal government. And whether you're pro getting jabbed or anti getting the jab, it doesn't matter. You do you. That's the way I look at it. But that's the
You
thing
look at it
is,
like you should be able to have the right to choose and not
yeah,
be told which way or the other.
Yeah,
which I completely agree with.
exactly. You do you. If you think that's something that's good and needed, and you you believe more of the stuff that they put out there than you don't believe, or you know, just do what you want. But I think you should be able to do what you want. Um, we we're getting these emails from corporate saying, "Hey, uh, we're not forcing you to do this. It's the government, and because the government, because the industry that we're in, we have to comply." Well, no, you don't. Not really. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
Um, but I quickly figured out that they weren't going to back us individual workers. They weren't going to give us a choice. They're going to say, you're going to do what the government says you're going to do, or we're not going to fire you, but we'll put you on administrative leave until, they're basically twisting our arm. You're you're going to still be an employee, but you're not going to be getting paid because you're not going to be coming to work because you don't want to do what the government's telling you to
And
do.
it's the principle of the matter, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
if you allow that to happen, that one step, some people are like, well, what's the big deal? Just do it. But it's the principle of the matter. If they're able to
Hmm.
force their hand with that, where do you draw the line? Like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
if you allow that to happen, then,
Exactly.
where do we draw what's
It's.
what's to come further down the line. So I
Hmm.
think that's kind of the ideal, and I don't know about you, but that's the way I see it. I think that's, and the people who have an issue with it, it's not necessarily just so against the jab or whatever, but
Right.
it's about the principle of the matter, that how can you say you can make me do this, and where do we draw the line? Where is this going to stop? If you're able to do that and you're able to enforce those things upon us, what else are you going to enforce and get away with it?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's a lot of people. A lot of people are choosing their careers differently right now because of the fact that that stands in the way, and that's a requirement. So, but
Yeah. It's
either way,
if you give up an inch,
right,
then they will take a mile.
right,
And I learned a long time ago as a kid, if you let a bully poke you in the chest,
right,
pretty soon he's shoving you, and then he's tackling you, and then he's just beating you. So I never let bullies poke me in the chest. Bully
right.
poke me in the chest, and I punch him in the nose. I put a stop to it right there. And so I've never been one to just take it, to put it nicely. uh,
Well, we had a few more people jump in here, so I want to acknowledge them. I'm sorry.
no, no, no.
We have to acknowledge the chat.
Yeah, for
And
sure, for
so,
sure. I
and
keep seeing
before I
people
get
over
too
here.
behind, I wanted to say hello to Homesteading Hustle. I see that you say that this is the first live you've been able to make. I'm so happy that you're here. Laura
Nice.
hopped in and said hello to us from Hedgehog Homestead. Speaking of which, I wanted to go ahead and say I have a live scheduled with her at 1 o'clock that I'm going to be on Hedgehog's Homestead, and so she's going to be interviewing me. So this is gonna be fun. I'm interviewing you, and then she's gonna interview me. And so
Nice.
if you guys want to see that, y'all can be at it. I think it's 1 p.m. Central Time. So if y'all want to see that, over there at Hedgehog's Homestead, that's where that'll be going on. And Adventures of Kenny and Debbie said, I agree with Eric 100%. Pafford Homestead hopped in here, and I'm just highlighting their comments,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
they said hello to us at one point before they started saying hello to everybody else. And then Digging for Help, that's Andrea. She said hello. And Ruth in Georgia Backyard Garden. She said good morning. So good morning. And that's Nightbot. Let's see. So we had a couple of new people, Canadian fishing musicians in the house.
Nice.
I hope you're having a great day too. That is Rich. Uh-oh. My husband is having surgery tomorrow, and I have to show vax in order to be in the hospital. See that? That's
It's That
I
I don't
don't want to
know.
go
I
too
don't
in
know if I.
depth about this
Yeah,
conversation because I know that, I don't want to end up having this whole video taken down, but I just think that's ridiculous.
yeah.
See, my chat demands acknowledgement.
Right on. That well,
I even get
that's the thing
that.
that's great about lives and the chats is, I mean, that's why I like to go into lives on the chats and stuff because then you're actually interacting with people.
I
You
can't
know,
believe Courtney's in my chat. I feel so honored. Corky Courtney is here from Wide Family Farm. I don't think she's ever been in one of my lives or not said hello. Maybe she's just been lurking. Like, I'm going to see if she deserves my chat.
hey, I'm gonna chat. I'm gonna need you guys to drop like regular comments or yeah, comments in the regular comments section outside the live chat. You know what I mean? Like down below the video, so that I can come back to this later on and find you guys, so that
Yeah.
I can come check your channels out too. If you
And
do that,
the
that'd be
live
cool.
chat, I will be doing the live chat replay so that you can kind of see who was in there
Okay.
too and see,
Okay. Good. Good.
go back, see who, if you missed anything or what. Sometimes I do that too. Sometimes, a lot of times, I forget to write things down and I'm like, who was it in the chat that asked me to do this or that? And I can't remember. So I'll have to go back and try to go to where I thought it was and then see what it was I said I would do, you know.
Yeah, I'm
It's
terrible about that. I used to I got in the habit when I was in the army of always having a notepad and a pen, so I always write everything down. Well, it's kind of double-edged sword. Like it always helped me remember things or not remember things because I would have things written down. I'm like, why'd I got to remember it? I wrote it down.
right,
so
right.
so I don't really do that anymore. But I got my phone all the time, and so like a lot of times my wife or I'll be talking with somebody else, and
I
then
keep
so
my paper and pen so that I
yeah,
can write down things if I need to.
I pull up a text message to myself and I'll be taking notes and stuff, and people are thinking I'm being rude, just jacking around on my phone. I'm like, no, I'm taking notes of what you're saying, so I
Right.
remember it for later.
Okay, we're gonna try to get caught up in the chat, and then I'm gonna start
Yeah,
asking you some
sorry.
questions, and I
Oh,
hope you're ready
okay,
for that.
okay.
I'm not gonna pull a you and be like, "Tell me about your whole life story," you know? Well,
Well,
just a little
mine's
bit.
super interesting, so I keep it short.
This is tea, not whiskey. I know. Shoot.
Right.
Okay, so this is Homestead in the Wood. This is a new person I've never seen before, and it's good to see you here. Um, they said hello from Eastern
Eastern
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I'm going to Kentucky in just a couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited about that. There's a meet up there, the Heartlanders Picnic, on September 10th. And so I'm going to Kentucky. Woohoo! Okay. Who we got? Who we got? Anybody else? Anybody else? And while I'm going to ask him these questions, and then if you guys have any questions for Eric that I didn't cover, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will try not to miss them. Maybe start it with, at Eric from Kansas or something, and that way we can see. Comments are turned off right now. Yeah, they are turned off. I guess you'll just stay for the after party or come back or something and comment. They're turned off during the live, but
Oh, I see. I see.
okay. Okay. So I need info for the Kentucky Expo or get together. Does anyone have a link for that, please? So the link will be provided by Jesse. He's good at that. The Kentucky Expo, I'm assuming you're talking about the Heartlanders picnic that I was just talking about in Grand Rivers, Kentucky on September 10th. Yeah, there it goes. You put it up. Heartland Homesteaders Picnic. That is it. Okay. So, starting out, we want to know a little bit about your backstory, right? I mean, where you were born, if that was the same place you were raised, and have you always lived in Kansas, that sort of thing.
Okay. So it's funny. I was just thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, I'm Eric from Kansas, but I'm from California.
Right?
So I was born in California. My dad was a jarhead, and I grew up, Marine Corps family. So kind of bounced back and forth
Right.
between the coasts and, but yeah, I was born in Oceanside, California, and let's see, lived in where's the Marine Corps base on the East Coast, Paris Island? Is it North Carolina, South Carolina? I don't know, one of the Carolinas. And um, so I've lived California, one of the Carolinas, Florida, um, Kansas, Missouri. That's really about it. Those are the only states I've lived in. And
So how did you end up
where I'm at now,
yeah, where you're at now?
so see in the town where I am, there is a brand new supermax security prison that opened up here in like I don't know, it was 1990 or something like that. And my dad went to work there when it first opened up, and that's how we first came to. Well, not the very first time, but that's how we kind of ended up settling in Kansas after he had been done with the Marine Corps, and um, we just kind of stayed in Kansas. I wound up joining the Army in was it 99, I think it was. I did 8 years in the Army. Then after the Army, I came back here to Kansas, and I've just kind of been here ever since. Um,
So you like it
that's
there?
yeah. Well, obviously, I'm pretty big into the firearms and stuff, and Kansas is one of the more free of the states when it comes to that sort of thing. Although we have some of the highest taxes, um, where otherwise it's I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty chill. It's kind of more my speed when you're living in the small towns, or like I'm finally out in the country. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, but now that I'm finally out in the country, I like it. I don't know that I could ever go back to living in town. Um, I
We're
lived
going
in
to talk about
Wichita.
your homestead a little bit in a little while. I want to talk about your
Okay.
interest in weapons. I want to know if that started from having a Marine, having a jarhead as a dad, or
Uh-huh.
or if that came later on when you joined the military, or who taught you how to. Because I know that you're skilled, with the weapons, and so I want to know, when did that interest start?
Okay. Well, there's a couple people ask about the shirt, so let me knock out the shirt question real quick. This is one of my newest ones. This is the first day I wore it. This is called Bloom, as in blooming flowers, right? You can see there's machine guns and stuff hiding behind the flowers and whatnot. Anyway, this is from a company called Retro Rifle. Those guys really do need to sponsor me because I'm always wearing their stuff and people is always asking about them. But the company is Retro, Retro Rifle, Retro Rifle. But
you're,
I've
you're
got,
right. There is a couple of people asking about your shirt. That's the first
I've,
thing I said. I was like, I love your shirt.
I got a whole collection of these things. I love them. Um, I wear them. I wear them around. I just wear them all the time, and like even when I'm in town, I get compliments and people asking about the shirts and stuff. Um, but that's it. Retro Rifle. But as far as how I got into weaponry and firearms and stuff like that, um, like every little American boy, I was just kind of into guns and things that go bang and make loud noises, right? So that was just kind of normal. And my dad never really had guns in the house or anything, um, but we would figure out ways to get BB guns and things, and we would have, like these days, kids have airsoft and paintball.
Yeah,
When I was a kid, it was BB gun fights, and we would have BB gun fights in the neighborhoods.
that sounds
And
dangerous.
yeah, it was a good time though. And then like I said, my dad never really had guns around, never was into guns or anything like that, mainly because that's what he did for a living. He was infantry in the Marine Corps, and like most military guys, have a love-hate relationship with their job. But when he
Right.
wasn't at work, then he had nothing to do with work. And then the other reason was my mom is from Guam, and Guamanians are known to have pretty hot heads and explosive tempers, and he didn't want any guns in the house because if he said, yeah, that's what he always told me. He's like, main reason I'll keep a gun in the house is because I know when he's dead, I'm going to piss your mom off. She's going to blow my head off.
Yeah, because she knows where I sleep.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, you do know mom, right? You know she doesn't need a gun. If she wants to kill you, she's just going to do
Right, exactly.
it.
So Carol from Fishes and Loaves came in, and so did
Hi.
Dawn from New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus. She lives in Cyprus. I just think that's so awesome. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the new people in the chat.
Yeah,
Okay,
hey
go ahead.
everybody.
I got my
And then
blanket because I'm cold.
yeah, I'm out. It's nice today for once. It's
Yeah, I
not
should have
blazing
said
hot.
outside. I just don't know how good my internet would do outside, and I didn't want to be like, so next question.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to the router in there. So I joined the army, and I'll just put this out there for people who don't know. Uh, if you go looking for instruction in firearms, and a guy says that he was in the military, that is not a qualifier to be able to teach things about firearms. The vast majority of guys in the military, they go to a mandatory rifle qualification once a year. They shoot the minimum number of rounds they have to shoot to become qualified, and then that's it. So just because somebody was military or even police or anything like that doesn't necessarily qualify them. And I won't get all into that. I'll save that stuff for my other channel, um, my training company channel.
So talk a little bit about that if you want to. What all different social media platforms do you have a channel on? And if people are interested more of the weapon side of it or more of the homesteading side of it, you have a few different options there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me finish up on the
Okay, I'm sorry.
how I got into the firearm stuff first. Uh, so the army really didn't do a whole lot for me as far as firearms and everything, but I had always thought that I'm a soldier, I'm into guns. I thought kind of that was it. And then after I got out of the army, um, I got out of the army in 2007, and that was the same time that Kansas became a shall issue concealed carry state, which means if you ask for a concealed carry license, if you don't have like a felony in your background or something like that, like they have to give it to you. They don't have the option. Um, so I got my concealed carry license in 2007 as soon as I got out of the army. And then I thought that was it. I took the class, got my license. I thought I was good. And then I thought that was the end of it. 5 years later, in October 2012, I had a couple guys try to pull a home invasion on me,
Oh, wow.
and
But that didn't work out for them.
no, it actually worked out probably about as good as it could have, because real short, Reader's Digest version. Heard a knock at the door. I thought it was like 6 in the morning. I thought it was my mom. I go and I open the door, and these two guys try to shove their way in my apartment. I grab the door and the door frame, and I'm like body blocking them, and now I'm waking up because I got two guys trying to force their way into my apartment. Um, these guys are both inebriated. One of them's very drunk, and the other one's very high, and they were both bigger than I was. And I was like, man, if these guys get in here, I'm dead meat. And then I realized I had my pistol, the same pistol that I carry today, was laying on the table behind me. So I spun around, I grabbed that pistol, and we had words. And last thing I wanted to do, because even though it had been 5 years since I've been in the military, I still felt like um, I had just got out of the army the day before. Last thing I wanted to do was shoot an American or people who were likely Americans. Anyway, they wound up getting in. We kind of did this little dance. I was able to coax them back out, And then I got back inside and kind of barricaded the door. And then the next morning, I realized I was like, wow, I had a concealed carry class and I didn't learn squat. I didn't learn anything about how to be prepared for something like this. Like, I heard a whole bunch of war stories from this guy who was, almost 70. I heard about how great of a cop he was when 50 years ago. And that was really the gist of my concealed carry class. Kind of briefly went over the laws and the rules that we were supposed to be aware of. But I remember being furious at how sorry my concealed carry class was. And then I decided right then and there, I was like, I'm going to learn everything I can learn about how to be ready to use a gun when it comes time to use a gun. And then I'm going to go teach people the things that I've learned, because I don't want this crap happening to them and them being lost like I was lost. I wound up not having to shoot the guys, so that's good.
That's good.
And they did not beat me up, put me in a hospital, or kill me, so that's good. Uh, I might do a whole other separate video. Because it's kind of a longer story when I get into it, but there's one funny part where I'm actually running down the middle of the road in my pajamas with a gun. So,
that
that's
is
that's a whole
interesting.
other story.
I guess for another
But
time.
that is how I really got into firearms, and that was like a wake up call for me.
Yeah, well, I hate it took a bad experience, but at least you are prepared more. You feel more prepared now for a situation if it was to come. You feel more like
Yeah,
you can, you know,
yeah.
ready
I
for a
was.
situation like that if it was to come. Hopefully, it never does again, but you know.
Mhm. I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I made where I've kept track of all the training I've done, who the instructor was, where I went, what the title of the class was, how much it cost, how many rounds of ammunition I had to take to the class, and all that stuff. And not including my time in law enforcement and not including my time in the military, I have uh, I've spent probably, I don't know how many hundreds of hours um, in training as a private individual civilian, and I've spent over $10,000, and about $10,000 in my own training to learn all the things that I've learned. And so what I've been trying to do, and now here I'll get to the social media part and stuff now. Um, I Hey, keep that up there. I want to see that. But let me finish my thought real quick.
Okay.
Um,
So, yes, you were talking about the social media outlets that you have.
yeah,
You do classes of your own, do you not?
yeah. That's where I was going. That's where I was going. Thanks. I kind of lost track there. But I'm on Instagram. Um, Same name as here, Eric from Kansas. That's kind of like my personal sort of page. And then there's Defense Focused Training, all one word, Defense Focused Training. And that's my business account. And I have been posting a whole lot of stuff there because I haven't got a whole lot of stuff going on right now. But that's also another reason why I left my job, was because I working the job that I was working, I didn't have time to invest toward my business and actually teaching classes and stuff like that. I've taught classes over the years, but not nearly at the rate that I've wanted to. It's little onesies and twosies here and there when I could find time away from my oil refinery job. But now that I don't have that, I'm going to be able to schedule classes every weekend if I want to. So that stuff is going to start picking up. I have a website which is currently closed at the moment because I have to go through the hoops. I have to jump through the hoops with the county and the government to make sure I have all my permits and everything in place. And then once I get classes actually scheduled, I will reopen the website and people will be able to go on there and kind of see the stuff that I have to offer as far as training. So yeah, I have a YouTube channel too for defense focused training.
And all of this is posted on your banner of your profile of your channel, right? On
I think
YouTube.
so.
It's
I
all
think
up
so.
there. I think it's all at the top. The
Yeah.
links where you can, or you have it
Hmm.
posted where it, maybe it's your website that shows all your different, but I know you have something where if you click on it, it shows every single social media platform you're on and what your names are on those and
Oh
everything.
yes, yeah, yeah. So on my Eric from Kansas YouTube channel, up in the banner, there's a little link. It's koji.com, Koji. Anyway, if you go there and you click on that link, a little thing will pop up, and uh, it's kind of wonky right now. I have some missing links and stuff like that, but that's on my to-do list is go in and fix all that so you can link to all my other stuff like my actual website, all my different social medias and stuff like that.
But
But
it is set up, and you're
yeah,
able to see the name and the platform that you're on so that they can look you up. And so that's
yeah,
good. So she
yeah.
says she calls you Erica, which I think is funny because when I'm getting upset at Eric, that's what I say. I'm like, Erica. But so we're not mad at you today, so we're not going to call you Erica. But she was suggesting that you do a video on what you did wrong that morning and reshoot and show maybe like what you could have did better in that moment, just to use that as an example of what
Yeah.
you would do differently besides opening the door,
Yes.
not opening the door.
Yeah.
But just because you didn't open the door doesn't mean they wouldn't have busted it down. You know what I'm saying? At least you were up.
Hmm.
At least you didn't hear the knock at the door and you're like, go away, I'm still sleeping. You know?
Yeah. I was actually I was sleeping. I had a little apartment in Topeka in a ratty neighborhood, and I was sleeping on the futon, which was in the middle of the living room. So the door was like
Right there.
5 feet away,
Yeah.
and I had my gun on the coffee table because I was in a crappy neighborhood, and if somebody's going to kick in the door, I wanted the gun right away. Well, instead somebody knocked on the door. I went and I looked through the peephole. I saw a little brown hand. I thought it was my mom, and then so I opened the door. I was I was not fully coherent, and then opening the door. That's kind of what set the whole thing off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea. It's a great idea to do that after
Do a
action review
demonstration
sort of
of like
video.
what you did and what you should have done differently,
Hmm. That's a good idea.
And to me, I mean, a lot of people are like, well, I have a homesteading channel and I, don't want to mix all this in. So they make a whole different channel. But to me, I mean, that just makes your channel even that much better if you have a wide variety of things. You're going to bring in all types of people to that one channel. You know what I'm saying? So even
Yeah.
if you wanted to do some of that on your Eric from Kansas channel, you could go through scenarios of how to react in this type scenario thing, which I know would probably hard without another party to help you like demonstrate, but
Hmm.
it's something that you could think about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and break it
something.
down moment by moment. It also gives you mental muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about that. I kind of went back and forth on, do I want to include, you know, um, firearm stuff and defensive things like that? Do I want to put that on this channel too? And then how um, the powers that be at YouTube. I don't know how much you guys know about the typical gun tuber channels, but they're not very well liked on YouTube. They get shut down at random all the time, and then they'll be gone for 3, 4, or 5 days a week, and then they'll come back, and then they'll all of a sudden not be monetized. And these are big channels that have been monetized for like 15 years and stuff. They'll just wake up one day and find out that all of a sudden their income just stopped.
I
Thanks
think
to
so
YouTube.
too. Homestead in the Wood. That's kind of what I'm saying. The people that are going to support you and want to know more about the guns and stuff is going to be the homesteading community more than likely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The people who are bunkering down and preparing their pantries and those sort of things, they're going to be the crowd that, and then also, like, we're a tight knit community. The homesteaders are also, with the fishermen and the hunters and all of that. So those people aren't going to have anything bad to say about you showing gun safety and things like that. So I think the homesteading community is a good place for you to, demonstrate those sort of things, because that's kind of, while we say homesteading, I think the majority of us are prepping. And in order to be prepared, you're going to need to be able to defend your family and your home, and that's just, a lot of times we don't talk about it like that. Because we're not trying to be like, or I know I'm not trying to be like doomsday on here and get on and be like, we need to get ready, but when
Yeah.
it comes down
Yeah.
to it, that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? There is no secret about it. Most
Yes.
everyone who is stocking their pantries and doing all those things, they're preparing for something that could be to come, that will, is inevitable. So,
Yeah.
and, I think gun safety is a big part of that. If you're going to have them, you need to know how to be able to safely use them. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just saw 12 Stones Ranch said check about putting videos on Rumble too, and I have a Rumble channel, and I can't remember which name I'm going by on there. I think it's Eric from Kansas, but I do have a Rumble outlet. I need to get up on all my social media and stuff and kind of tweak everything and bring everything up to date. But
so
I'm
I
on
guess you
Rumble. So
I guess you could use a spatula or something. They're saying that you will get reported for using an actual weapon. So, I mean, get the hairbrush out and be like,
well, I've got airsoft guns. I've got inert training guns. I have
or
a cert pistol, which is not an actual gun. It's just a little laser gun. So I guess I could use those.
crochet conceal carry holster. That's funny. They're running with it.
Yeah.
Jesse says he has to protect his wife's gems and jellies. That's right.
Right.
Those are treasured. Those are to be treasured and need met with with lethal force if you try to steal her jams and jellies. No. And so I wanted you to talk about your homesteading journey. So tell them how long ago y'all bought that land and how fresh it is and everything. First of all, I want to say this man did quite a bit of. Hey, Kyle, thank you for being here. I know I saw a lot more people coming in, and I appreciate y'all being here, but I'm trying to interview this man, and I don't want to keep cutting him off to say hey to everybody. So I hope y'all understand that. But first of all, I want to say this fella right here, or I was told that it's backwards. So should I do like this? Um, uh, so he actually did a lot of renovating on his house before he sold it. Like he took a lot of time getting everything so the way he would be comfortable with having it, and then they ended up moving. And so, if you want to talk a little bit about y'all's move and when y'all moved there and what y'all are in the process of doing to start, what all you have done thus far and what your plans are to do on the homestead.
Oh man, it's all such a blur. I can't even remember if
That's a loaded question. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think it was right after the first of the year, somewhere those first few months. Um, I actually have a playlist, and I think it's binge from the beginning or something like that. If you go to that playlist, I think the very first video on there is like my channel intro video, and then after that, it's just the whole thing of where we went when we first found the place, just driving by, looking at it, and then um, making the decision to go ahead and move and why we made the decision, and kind of the all the work that went into getting this house ready to move into. Um, Most of it was cosmetic stuff. I did wind up getting like all the plumbing in here replaced, in this house replaced, and that was a big chunk of change which I
Yeah.
wasn't willing to spend. But I'm I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey. So I'm kind of Dave-ish, you know, following the Dave Ramsey plan of being debt free. And like like I'm debt free right now, except for the house and property. That's the only thing that I have to make payments on. I don't have any credit cards or loans or any of that mess. I prefer to stay away from all that. Um, but yeah, so the playlist just kind of documents everything that I've done up to now, and I still feel like even now that the years, a little more than half over, and I still feel like I haven't gotten hardly anything more done than what's already posted on the YouTube.
Well, it takes
Uh,
time.
it does. What I've been doing a lot lately, though, is I got a big old shop building over there, and um, the shop building for since we first moved in, it was just basically like one giant storage unit, and we've had all our stuff in there. I've got there's a walk-in door with a drive-in garage door right next to it, and that I consider one bay. And then other than that, I got three more bays. So I got a 4 bay shop building over there, and I've gotten three of the 4 bays cleaned out. Like I went in there, climbed up on ladders, swept the ceilings and the walls and everything, and pulled everything out of there, swept out all the floors. I've been trying to seal up cracks and put down. I got diatomaceous earth all around to keep the bugs out, and that's working really good so far. And
Yeah.
one end of the bay I set up, it's like my actual shop area. I got to build a workbench in there. That's all my tools and mowers and all that crap in there. Then the next bay is I've got it set up as my home gym, and then the third bay, and this is what I've been doing the past, since I quit my job. I've just been working in that thing mainly. But that third bay, I think I'm going to try to turn it into a cigar lounge like I used to have at the old house. I got
Yeah.
a whole I got a whole separate playlist on my channel about how to make a smoking cigar lounge in your house if you want one, because I had one at the old house. I'm a big cigar um,
And I've watched that whole playlist. I've watched
fan.
all of your videos. The only two videos I haven't seen is the review on those things that go on your legs, I think. And
Yeah.
then you had one that you just posted not long ago. And I've got two videos to watch. Other than that, I've watched all your videos.
Well,
So,
nice.
um, but I've watched them from when I first met you. I went back and watched, and that was, I think, right before y'all made the move. So,
Yeah.
but I know that you really like when you say you made a cigar lounge, like this guy, like guys, he like, installed the ventilation and had switches and everything and all the stuff. So like
Yeah. I think it turned out really well. I don't think of myself as a handy guy at all, and that was kind of a huge deal. Cutting a 8-inch hole in the ceiling of my house was kind of sketch, um, but but I did it, and it worked out, and it worked out great.
it
Anyway,
did.
over here in the shop, I plan on what I want to do in that third bay is make that into another cigar lounge, um, and I kind of have maybe um, an idea for that. I kind of want to. This is kind of what I want to do with it. Make that a cigar lounge, but make so like when I lift up the roll door, the garage door, and you're standing outside, like it looks like an old timey sort of storefront, like Western sort of storefront, but it's the cigar lounge. And I thought about making that kind of like a private cigar club sort of place.
Nice.
You had
And
mentioned the hunting and stuff earlier. Uh, I had actually I drove across the street. I drove across the street. I'm out in the country, so I drove out across the street and down the neighbor's long driveway, who's directly across the road from me. And I went over there to meet him because there's been a bunch of building and stuff going on over there. Anyway, I found out the guy right across the street is opening a hunting lodge right across the
nice.
road from me. I was like, that's stinking cool. So um, I was like, well, that would be cool if those guys wanted to come over and have a smoke, that'd be a little bit of business. I don't know. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But
You
the
also
biggest,
built your own chicken coop, right?
yeah.
Well, hey, just because it's not up to what you would rather it be doesn't mean it's still, you still did it. And that's the point. The
I am gonna,
homesteading wise, because we have a lot of homesteaders in here, that's why I was asking you. As far I know, the first thing you did was cut a trail all the way around your property, did you not?
yeah, yeah, I did. And I have to stay up on that trail and maintain it. I have to cut it pretty regularly.
But it's
Um,
pretty awesome.
yeah, I like it. It goes all the way around the perimeter of the property. I don't have a whole bunch of land out here, and I'm kind of glad I don't have more than I have. You know, a lot of people, you know, they move out to the sticks and they got to get 20 acres right off the bat. I got just under 5, and I'm like, how do you keep up with 20 acres? I could barely keep up with 5.
And you have a pond, do you not?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's a pond, but right now it's just like a mud puddle. Um, but my wife and I were just talking about how one of the things we like about it out here is all the wildlife. There's so many different animals and stuff out here. She said she's lived in the country most of her life when she was growing up and stuff, and she said she's never lived in a place out in the country where she's had this much wildlife around. Like this morning, I saw like a little heron, right? The bird, the kind of stork looking
Right,
thing,
Karen.
like
Yeah.
a little baby blue heron out in the mud puddle this morning. All kind of creatures out here. My shop there, the last bay with the walk-in door, that end I'm going to actually make into a classroom. And I'm gonna try to get one of those standalone units to where you can heat and cool it. My insurance won't let me have like a wood burning stove or anything like that, which is fine. But I want to have a climate controlled classroom. So when I'm doing classroom stuff like concealed carry classes, we can do it right there. And then we come out and we walk back here behind the house to the shooting range, and I can do the shooting and everything back there. So that is my main focus right now, is trying to get the firearms training stuff up and going.
Yes.
Yeah, I cut the trail around the property, and then I actually cut a few more, so it kind of zigzags. Um, but I use that for just running and for walking the dogs, and I'm going to use that during some of my firearms training classes to torture people and make them tired before they have to shoot guns. You know,
Going
um,
for a 5 mile run before we operate our weapons.
yep, yep. Get all nice and hot and sticky and sweaty and drenched in sweat, and then let me see how good you can run your guns when your hands are all slippery and everything. That sounds dangerous, but I've been doing this for
But
a
you got
long
to be
time.
prepared for whatever situation.
Yeah, I know how to do this. I know how to do this stuff without letting people hurt themselves. Um, yeah, and yeah,
Well,
I've
thank
been.
you for coming, Andrea. We're losing people. They're leaving
Oh,
left and right. But I mean, we're coming
I'm
up on
sorry.
an hour, so I think
Oh, we
that's
sure
why
are.
everybody is like.
Yeah,
But it's I want to know as much as you'll let me know. So I don't
I'm.
care. Everybody could leave, and I'm still going to listen to what you have to say. So
Uh, I I'll finish the chicken coop. I'm trying to. The plan is to finish it sometime this week. So I'm going to record it, and I figured out how I'm going to do the video once I get done building it. Is I'm just gonna kind of put it together and like do a voiceover with it, um, and then
thank you for coming
that'll be
back.
the chicken coop build. And then
I was
oh,
wondering because
and then
I
I'll
saw where, blood and sweat went into that chicken coop build. I saw the epic
yeah.
injury that was acquired when you were building the chicken coop, but I didn't see much of the chicken coop build besides that. And so I was wondering what was the deal with that. But you're still in process of editing and doing voiceovers and stuff.
Well, I got to finish building it, so I'm just compiling the video now. Once I get it done, then I'll finally have all the video. Then I'll have to go back and do the editing. I haven't even started editing it yet. My problem is I try to do too many things at once, and because of that, I don't get anything done. So um, I'm trying to figure out how I'm trying to force myself to be more focused and do one or two things at a time instead of trying to do a million things at once. That's why I've been slacking off on the YouTube and stuff a whole lot, is because it was one of the things I kind of had to more or less put on the back burner while I get some of this other stuff done. And then another video that I'll probably do a little more sooner than later is that bird that I rescued. She's still around.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And my wife asked me, she's like, "You ever gonna finish that video?" I was like, "Yeah, eventually." But it's a neat little story about that little crazy bird. But she pretty much just lives here now.
Nice. Outside?
Both.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know
Yeah.
if she like sticks around or if she's still healing or what.
No, she so when I found her, I thought she was gonna die. But we raised her up, and like she knows how to hunt and forage and do all the things that birds do. She's kind of figured it out on her own. But she's also spoiled, and I think she likes living here. So, like we have a window that our windows open both directions, and we have one that we leave open when we're around. And she'll just fly in and out of the house like the dogs go in and out of the dog door. Mm-hmm. I have mixed feelings about that.
Then. That's cool.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. She's a pain in the butt, but she's like she's like any of the females in my life. They're cute, but they're pains in the butts, and you want to strangle them. That would be my wife's dog Lotus, the bird Story, and my wife. They're all cute.
Well, I'm so glad I'm on the other screen.
But
I'm on the other side of the screen, so I can't witness that strangling.
I can't do it. I'm like, and then I just can't do it. I'm like, "You're lucky, you're cute." I'm always threatening the bird. I'm like, "Bird, I will wrap you in a tortilla and eat you." My wife's like, "Don't talk like that."
Don't say that.
Yep.
I could hear me saying that. Why you gotta say stuff like that? I probably say that like a couple of times a day with my lip turned up. Like, why you gotta say stuff like that?
I'm always telling Crystal how Lotus is gonna make a beautiful rug one day. I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna be a nice soft."
That's terrible. Rug. Lotus is a great dog, and you know you love her.
Oh my gosh.
Eric is the same way. He's just like, I ain't never getting another dog ever again. Once ever we get rid of these dogs, I'm done for. I'm done with dogs. We ain't never having dogs in the house again. I'm like, okay.
Yep, I agree. So. We got these dogs, and they're fine enough, and I like them enough. But I think when we don't have these dogs no more, I don't think we're gonna get any more dogs. I say that, but this house, I just work here, so you know.
They want to know what kind of dog is Lotus.
Lotus is a mongrel. she's part yellow lab, golden retriever, German Shepherd, and border collie, I think.
And so Ronin.
Mixed. Ronin, some kind of mixed pit bull. He's a good dog though. He gives me the least grief, even though he's bullheaded. He gives me the least grief of all the other living creatures around here, because he'll pretty much stay out of my way. Everybody else is always seems like everybody else is always right under my feet or right in my face. What are you doing? What are you doing? We want to go where you go. We want to do what you're doing. We want to be with you. And I'm like, oh my God, fine, be with me. Just be out with me off to the side. I got to move. I got stuff to do. I ain't got time to be dilly-dallying.
You know, you say that, but if you didn't have those things and people, how would you feel then? You think, if I could just get a little piece and you know, but if all of those people and things were to go away, I bet you would feel differently. I bet you would be like,
Yeah,
man,
I think I would drive myself nuts constantly go 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 going. I think if it weren't for um like the literal physically getting slowed down, I don't think I
yeah.
would ever slow down.
My Eric says I saved his life because I told him that one time that it's okay to be tired. I mean, you would be surprised at the extents people go to avoid being tired and resting, to just keep on being able to keep on. But we're not meant to do that. We're meant to rest. There's a reason why we have that thing called a bed, and we lay
Hmm.
horizontally, and our body and our circulation needs that. We need that
Hmm.
rest. Like, not
Oh
just
yeah.
pass out on a couch or a chair, but we need to have that. Our body needs that rest. Our minds need that rest. So
Hmm.
it's
Well,
pertinent.
I saw a rich cat there asked where originally from.
Yeah, she
Um,
wasn't here at the
bo-
beginning.
born in California, but left
You
there
said
when I was
Oceanside is where you said?
Oceanside, California. My dad was a jarhead, but moved away from there when I was still single digit. I don't know. I was maybe 6 or something like that. We moved away from there. Um, and somebody else had asked what kind of bird it was that we had. It's a starling.
Thank you
Yeah,
for coming, Bearded.
bearded. Thanks. Yeah.
A starling bird, you said?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If somebody wants this dog's fur, you're welcome to have all of it because it's everywhere.
Yeah, right. Just collect it up off the couch.
Yeah, Heinz 57. I remember calling it that when I was a kid too. What kind of dog is that? That's a Heinz 57.
My chocolate passed when COVID hit. 12 years old. I called him my big guy. Bless it.
Ah,
See, I don't know, because you talk about, your dogs being, and I'm just like, and my dogs don't, I'm not gonna lie, they get on my nerves because they don't listen. And I mean, we have a routine. We do the same thing every day,
hmm,
and they always go to the wrong part of the yard. Like, they're supposed to go over here and they always go over there. It's like, you're supposed to be over here, and you got to yell at them to make them do right. But I just don't know. I'm like, I will have to brace myself. There's gonna have to be. I'm gonna need a support group whenever I lose one of my dogs. Is what I'm saying. Especially Ruby, and
yeah,
I don't mean to pick favorites, but like you're like favorites towards Ronan because he's more. I feel that bond with my girl dog, my pit bull. She's Ruby. It's like she knows. She knows if I'm sad. She knows if I'm angry. She just knows, and she is so smart. And Oz, he just likes to come up to you and rub his butt on you. You know what I'm saying? He's just dumb. Like, but
yeah,
Ruby, she is very attentive and aware. And I swear, I'm just waiting any day now for her to just talk. Like, it's like she knows what it's going. But that makes it even more frustrating. It's like she knows what you're saying, she knows what you're feeling. So that makes it even more frustrating when she doesn't do right because it's like, I know you hear me.
hmm.
Like, but
I
she's
grab her
great.
by it. Answer me.
Yeah. Like,
You cute.
well, let's see her. She can get in here too. Tell her to come on.
She's gonna punch me in the nose.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
Well, we want to say that too.
She's cute, but I don't mess with her. She's looking for her bird because a bird went out this morning, and lately she's just been taking off, and she'll be gone for hours, just gallivanting around, and then she'll just come back at random. Crystal's very attached to her. I mean, I'm kind of attached to her too, but
I've never seen Pac-Man Paranormal in here. Hey there. Thank you for coming in. I think at some point we got a love raid. I think they came in and said love
A
raid
what?
from Big Tiny's Outdoors. So I appreciate that,
Oh,
Rich from
nice.
Big Tiny's. I appreciate that. I'm trying to find where I'm at here. I think European starlings are an invasive problem in the
Saw
U.S. If
that.
you,
Yeah. Well,
uh-oh.
luckily I don't have a chimney, and I don't know. I've been waiting for her to like try to build things, and she doesn't really want to build anything. She's just, uh, I, I don't know.
I just don't know. I love my dog. Now everybody's talking about losing the dogs and stuff, and I'm just telling you, I've had her for
Oh,
what, 6 years. And see, I had that dog like in the hardest time of my life when I was going through some really dark, terrible things. She was there, you know, and she was right there. She would literally like, try to help me feel better and things like that. And she still loves me despite all the terrible things she saw me do and say. And and I just love my dog. So I can't imagine. I know, like, realistically, I know that one day I'm gonna have to deal with that, but I just try not to think about it because I love her. And so she's like
oh.
literally like one of my kids. Like
Hmm.
like I would mourn over losing my dog just like I lost a person. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that's how much of a bond I have with my Ruby girl.
that's understandable. When I was still in the army, before my last trip to Iraq, we were staying with my pre- previous wife and our kids. We were staying with some friends at their place out in the country, and we had our dog. Um, his name was Alexander because he was supposed to be a Great Pyrenees. So Alexander the Great
Alexander the
Pyrenees.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, he. I left for work one morning and I booked it down the dirt road, and I stopped when I got to the highway and watched the mirror because I knew he chased me. And I waited and waited, and I didn't see him. So I went ahead and went onto base, and then I came back later that night and found out that he was gone. So we went looking for him, and I found out that um, he had got out onto the highway and got hit, and somebody seen him get hit. It was the guy that lived. There was a guy that had a house on the highway right at the intersection. He seen the dog get hit, took the dog, tried to take care of it. Even had a vet come out. The vet said the dog's not going to make it. They wound up burying the dog. They wound up burying Alexander in their garden in the backyard. And then when I found out about that, and I went and I talked to them. I went back there to the garden, and man, I cried it was like it was one of my kids. and then and then I had to tell my kids that I was like, oh, Alexander probably just ran off into the woods or something, because the very next day I left to go to Iraq,
Bless
and
it.
I couldn't. I don't want to tell them, oh, your dog died. Oh, I'm leaving the country tomorrow for more than a year.
Yeah,
You know?
that's rough.
So I didn't tell them, Rich Cat, thanks. uh, I didn't tell them about what really happened to Alexander until sometime after I had come home.
Right. That's understandable.
Yeah, that rooster is a Spot. I got a whole video about Spot too, where I
Was a
thought Spot was
female.
a girl.
Yeah.
It is, and man, I'm trying to remember who it was that pointed out in the comments. She's like, hey, Spot's a boy, right? And I was like, what? What? Spot's a dude? I was like,
Spot.
my thumbnail says something like she's a he.
He's a he.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The rooster wants to be a YouTube star too, man. Kathy says.
He uh he just goes off like that every now and then throughout the day, several times a day. Drives Lotus nuts. As soon as he starts crowing, Lotus doesn't like loud noise at all, so she just ducks back into the house.
So for those that are new to your channel that have subscribed, hey,
That's Lotus.
oh, 319. For those that are new to your channel and new subscribers to you, what do you want to tell them about things that might be upcoming or something to look forward to? Or
First thing I would say to everybody is thank you if you've come over and checked out my channel and subscribed. I really appreciate it. Um, but the very next thing I will quickly follow up with is I'm sorry I'm not very consistent. Um, I always say that I will try to work on that, but it seems like every time I try to work on that, I have other things that are, honestly more pressing. Um, so um, I think the people who subscribe to me are just kind of in it for the long haul. They're like, he'll post eventually, and I'm like, yep, that's pretty much true.
pretty much when you subscribe to him, make sure you hit that notification bell so that when he does post something, you will get it.
Yeah. Uh, like I said, I think the next couple videos I have coming up, I'll probably do the story of Story, the starling that we rescued, and then the chicken coop build, and then I'm not sure what's coming up next after that. Yeah, I kind of feel bad about the whole. So my channel banner says something like homesteading as a beginner, and I think the most homesteady thing is that a word, homesteady? The most homesteady thing I've done was this stuff with the chickens, getting
That
the
was the first
chickens.
thing we did when we moved here was chickens.
Mhm.
I mean, well, that's a good start. Not having to buy eggs from the grocery store and getting them out of your yard is a big part of homesteading.
Oh, something I did do, which I actually wound up not making any videos about, was we had this little dingy, kind of creepy room in the basement, and we liked to stay out of there just because it was so horrible. And we wound up taking everything out of there. There was some old ratty carpet in there. I ripped the carpet out. Now it's just bare concrete floor. But we cleaned that out real good and repainted all the walls. And I put trim in there and everything. And with the single light bulb in the middle with the pull string, just painting it, it's just like difference is night and day in there. And that's like we turned that to like our prep pantry sort of room. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. I got shelves along all the walls, and we're working on building up all of our storage preps and stuff in there. So I guess that's the other
Yes,
homesteady thing
yes.
I've done.
For anybody who hasn't noticed the links where Jesse's putting down that my guest is Eric from Kansas and he drops his link, then you are more than welcome to go in the description below the video that it has those little blue letters. If you click on that, and I put down his link, so whether you click on the link or the blue letters that is his name, either way, it should take you to his channel. So yeah, and please do
Yeah,
that.
thanks everybody.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. The one of the things that is so like the videos I put a lot of work into, and they still don't turn out that great, but I'm put a bunch of work into them. I put those out there and stuff, and you know I think the only ones who are watching them are my subscribers, which is cool. Thank you everybody. But I've got two or three videos there that are just kind of like off the cuff, where I just grab my phone and I do those, and it's just random product reviews, and it's kind of annoying because those are the channels or those are the videos on my channel that has like all the views.
right, right. And you didn't take that much time in it. You were just like, hey, here's
uh,
this, here's how it works, and this is what I like or don't like about it, and it like goes viral or something.
it, it's mainly it seems like when I just do these off the cuff videos where I'm like, and I hate this, but I'm uh, I get ranty, you know. And so like my product videos, I just kind of rant about them. I'm like, oh, this thing sucks, and then I go off
Yeah,
about it. It seems like that's what gets the views, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm just adding to the toxic internet culture.
I feel you. That's how it is with me. Like I get just as many views on my lives and my live mail calls where I'm just turning the camera on and being like, "Hey, I got some mail. Let's see what's in it." That gets
Yeah.
more views than the content that I took a lot of time to film and then took a couple of few, sometimes several hours to edit, just depending on how much content there was. And then and it's like my average watch time on those are like, well, it's gotten better, but at the beginning it was like a minute and 60 something seconds. And you're talking about a 28-minute video. And I'd be
Mhm.
like, are you so serious right now? That's my average watch time is a minute. I'm like, and I took 7 hours making this video. I'm
But
like,
just so you know, Danny, when I do get around to watching your videos, when I watch your videos, I watch the whole entire thing.
well, I appreciate that. But so I know what you mean, how frustrating it is for the videos that you really took a lot of time and effort in and you stressed over and all that. I recently had a video like that I did that's not released yet. It will be on September 13th. But I stressed out about it all this time. I've been waiting to do my last chance cook-off video. I've been hassling Eric about it, like, we got to get it done. We got to get it done. I mean, I guess I could cook on the grill, but there's no telling what it might turn out like because I've never cooked on the grill by myself before. So I don't really want to do a cooking on the grill video for the first
It's
time that I've
easy.
ever cooked on a grill. I
You
mean,
should. You should.
uh, I might do that, but anywho, I just it ended up really dark. You couldn't hardly see anything in the video. I mean, from the very beginning, when we're like, "Hey, I'm Danielle," and then the whole time I'm trying to introduce myself, Eric is like looking back to make sure that the grill is not catching the porch on fire, and it just ended up all like I was like, but this is a one-time thing. We're not going to be grilling out again. So that was my entry for for this collab. And I'm like, oh, well, chances are I'm not going to be able to get him to do it. He's not a camera guy. Like he does not want to be on the camera at
Hmm.
all. Like his first thing was he was like, "Do I gotta talk?" You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
he does not want to. He is uncomfortable being on the camera and being online. So it was like twisting
Well,
his arm to get him to do it to begin with. So I know I'm not going to be like, "Oh, well, it was dark. Let's do another one." That's not going to happen. So, anywho, but so I pretty
if
much
it,
said at the beginning of the video, "Hey, I'm sorry, guys. This is dark, but this is what it is. So please
I
try to
saw
enjoy it anyway."
I saw in the comments over there, Violence is Life said that his Castle Grayskull antique toy shirt has the most views he's ever gotten. I feel that. my I think my most viewed video is it's a toss up. I have one about the stupid Scepter gas cans and one about the Dyson V10 vacuum filters. Those have all the views on my channel.
I noticed
Yeah,
that you
I
had.
saw that one too. Homestead in the Woods said they would much rather do a live than an edited one. It's
I saw
I,
where you had some of those cigar lounge videos, and they had like a whole lot of views. But they didn't have a
yeah,
lot. I'm like, well, if you had as many subscribers as you had views, why would they watch this video and not subscribe? But I know that there's some people who do that. Like my
hmm,
stepdad, for example, he's not subscribed to my channel and he watches every single one of my lives.
yeah,
But there's people who do that. They watch because they're not looking at it from the content side, like the content creator side of things. They're like, what's it hurt
hmm.
if I just look up this channel and watch all their videos and don't subscribe or hit the like button? But we're like, subscribe, hit the like button. I even
Yeah.
said,
I got to be honest. I think that's part of the reason. Like I'm like, man, I have a million things to do. That's why a lot of times the YouTube stuff and my other social media stuff just kind of gets pushed to the back burner because I'm like, what are the things I'm going to do right now that's going to pay off tomorrow? And I'm like, well,
right,
YouTube may eventually, but it's not going to do anything for me tomorrow. It's not going to make it easier to access things in my house when we're trying to just live life.
right.
It is, but I like to do the online stuff because if it weren't for online friends, I wouldn't really have any friends. I've got
No, that's real. I feel
I've got
that, man.
maybe I've got maybe 3 or 4 dudes off the top of my head that I could think of around here locally, but they're all busy. They all got their own lives and stuff too. And like when we get together in person, like no joke, we schedule that stuff like weeks in advance, you know, to be able to see each other.
I
So
feel
like
you.
if,
I have
if I
like
want
one friend outside of the one that I live with. So
what I said I had 4. That may be stretching it.
I mean, really, I mean, genuinely, like a friend that, I know that at any point that if I, needed to call him that, I mean, that's I'm saying that has known me for years and still keeps in contact with me. And if was not able to talk to me for a week, would be like, are you still alive? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of friend. Like I have a
Yeah.
lot of acquaintances that, but as other than that, YouTube is my social life. And that's what and
Hmm.
this is not about me, but that's why I kind of started this channel as well. Just to like document everything and show from where I started on my homesteading journey, but also to get more comfortable with like socializing because I noticed myself like completely like getting like more and more and more withdrawn and kind of being like ixnay on the world A. And I was just
Yeah.
wanting to like, I'm like, I know there has to be good out there
Hmm.
because, I was kind of getting to that point where everything that I was seeing was not good. And I just
Hmm.
didn't want to be involved with anybody at all ever, and I
I
was
feel
kind of
you.
closing myself off from the world. And it
Yeah.
has really helped me because I have had a good community that has come to me and supported me and encouraged me. And I've found like-minded people on here. And it's not just all garbage. There is a lot of garbage on YouTube or on
Hmm.
social media, but there are a lot of good people still out there. And and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that that they found me or I found them, and you know, they genuinely care to know how you're doing, and that's good to have sometimes. It's
Hmm.
people that are like, "What's going on with you?" How are you doing, and just genuinely care, and so that's good to have.
Hey, what's that event coming up? I think Gathered Together Homestead had shared it. I think it's over there close to where 9 Acres is at. The one that's going to be here in Kansas.
In
It's
Kansas,
Kansas, right? What was it like
yes,
October something?
I believe
What was
so.
that?
I think
I'm
it's
kind of
October 1st. Um,
October 1st.
it's the homesteading, self-sufficient, self-sufficiency, growing toward self-sufficiency is what it is.
I have to look it up on the Facebook again too.
And it's in Fort Scott, Kansas. Um,
Yeah.
oh, there it is, right there. Jesse put it up. He's on top of things.
Hey.
Growing toward self-sufficiency gathering, Bourbon County Fairgrounds, Fort Scott, Kansas, Saturday,
Right on.
October 1st. Hey, I had a lot of those hit points. Like, I'm impressed with myself. I
Oh, nice.
had the date right and I had the name almost right.
Yeah.
And I had the
Uh, I'm,
location. So, I mean,
I am planning on and looking forward to going to that. I'd like to meet a bunch of y'all.
that's awesome. Maybe I'll get to go to that. We shall see. Hmm.
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 Let's see. Big Tiny said, "Live for today. Tomorrow isn't promised."
Right?
Yes, that is super hard for me to um, get through my thick skull.
Amanda's impressed, and that's all I needed. So, besides family, I don't have any friends. I'm telling you. And then there's the Florida one. This is the Florida one. Oh, this is the Texas one. And then this
September
is the Florida one.
on my calendar.
There's just so many meetups.
Yeah.
And I think I want to take my mom to that one. We can make a little vacation out of it. It's in Florida. So,
Yeah.
Can't be that far from the beach.
Ugh. Wish I could go. I hadn't been to Florida in heck since fourth grade. This what last time? Well, no. High school. I graduated high school in Hollywood, Florida.
Hey, Gail.
Coupon Gale,
So,
hello.
so Gail is also Gail Southern Living and Coupon Gail and Southern
Oh,
Sandy
okay.
Craft. She has 3 different channels.
Right on, right on.
Does it count if you make it right? Besides Ruby, I should have counted Ruby.
Yeah, they count.
I meant like people wise. But yeah, for sure. Ruby lets me confide in her and she never argues with me or makes me feel stupid or, for having the concerns that I have. She's just really understanding. She's probably like my best friend, yeah.
I tell Crystal all the time that her bird story is like the typical girl. I was like, she she's cute. She just kind of flutters her eyes at you and sings little sweet songs to you and whispers sweet things in your ear, and then she walks all over you and craps on you.
Right. I can see that. Well, I won't tell you what I think about men, so we don't have enough
Oh,
time.
I, I probably feel the same way that you do about dudes. I know I'm a dude.
It's all right. I keep stopping the camera because I don't want to smoke on camera, but I'm proud of you. You haven't even smoked your cigar this whole time.
I know. I keep thinking about it, but I'm like, I have to. Actually, that's a decent segue, I guess. I have to go because I have to go to the bank. I'm finally. I had to get my articles of incorporation and operating agreement, my IRS tax number, and all that stuff together, so I can open a business account at the bank. I went to go do it yesterday, and they're like, do you have all these things?" I'm like, "I don't have an operating agreement. It's just me. I mean, there's nobody to agree on anything. I call all the shots." They're like, "Oh, you got to have an operating agreement." I was like, "That's stupid, but I'll come back tomorrow with an operating agreement."
Yeah. Well, life goes on, I guess. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming up here, and I hope that everyone here will support you. And I think you're awesome. And whether it's few and far between that you post comments, content, I appreciate what you do share. I think that it's worth
Well,
the
thanks.
sub and worth the time to watch. So,
I appreciate it, Danny.
and I thank
Everybody,
you for your
thanks
service.
for everybody having me on and listening to my rambling answers to some simple questions.
And I thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you. That's yeah, I'm glad to do it. Glad to do it for the reasons I thought I was doing it. I'll put it that way.
I understand that.
Well,
But
thank you.
we appreciate it. And so I'll let you go and get on with what you got to do. I have in 30 minutes, I will not miss Hedgehog's Homestead's interview. Now, the first time I completely missed it. So if y'all would come and see me at Hedgehog's Homestead, she's going to be, see, there she is, Hedgehog's Homestead, there. So, Jesse, if you would please put up a link to Hedgehog's Homestead, and in 30 minutes we will be going live with her. We, as Scott would say, we're all going to get rid of our drinks and refill our drinks. We're going to have a little break, but then we're going to be right back at it. So, and don't forget about Eric from Kansas.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. Thanks, Big Tiny. I saw some of your comments there. I like them. Just so you know, I saw them. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. I will see y'all at some point.
Thank you,
Later.
Eric.
Bye.
Bye. I truly appreciate y'all listening and getting to know our guest, and I appreciate y'all being here and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget, over at Hedgehog's Homestead at 1 p.m. Central Time, she's going to be interviewing me. I'm kind of nervous about this. I've gotten used to being the interviewer, but I'm not really used to being interviewed, so we shall see. I get nervous every time I'm asked to be on somebody's live because you don't know what to expect. When I'm the interviewer, I know what to expect, but when you're the one being interviewed, it's kind of nerve wracking. So I appreciate anybody who comes up here because I know that it takes some bravery and it puts you in a vulnerable position to be just open, be asked questions, and to dig in a little bit to your personal life. So I appreciate Eric for coming up here, and I thank you all for being here. And yeah, I hope y'all have a blessed rest of your Wednesday.